Okay, today I'm just going to give a concise book recommendation to the Gen Z crowd, as well as pretty much anybody who is thoroughly immersed in doom scrolling and binging on short form media and being an exhibitionist and not really deeply sitting with any form of media that would require you to spend, say, at least half a dozen hours or more on maybe a single argument or something. So, the book I'm going to recommend to you today is The Shallows: What the Internet is Doing to Our Brains by Nicholas Carr. Importantly, this book was published and popularized and considered discussion worthy well before everybody had smartphones that were loaded with hyper-stimulating apps. But, the entire book carries this sort of indispensably ominous atmosphere to it, okay? I was revisiting a couple chapters of it, and I noticed that it reminded me of capacities I used to have before I ever owned a smartphone. Which is not to say that those capacities are permanently pulverized and can never be exhumed and properly stewarded back into a state of vibrant functionality. But I used to read like several really information dense and kind of meta aware books every month or every couple months back when I was between the ages of, say, 17 and 24. I was reading tons and tons and tons of long form, rigorous, nuanced, subtle content pieces via websites like Less Wrong and, several other interesting outlets, including, believe it or not, Google Scholar or PubMed or these kinds of sources of really precise argumentation. And today I'm 32, so you'd think that, maybe I've enhanced my capacities over time by living especially skillfully. But what's actually happened is I've encountered an atrophying of my abilities in tandem with my quest for certain kinds of compensatory self-medicating comforts, which make the stresses and traumas of life easier to deal with. So, after you've taken an inventory of the capacities you used to have before you owned a smartphone or, say, were addicted to short form media, regardless of how old you are, then ask yourself which kinds of capacities you want to have access to in the next 5 or 10 years, and then write down a schedule through which to train yourself to reacquire those capacities. Because if you don't, you're going to be caught in the sort of bloodied and sharp teeth of the Matrix, if you want to call it that. And you'll just be at the mercy of all kinds of forces and influences that are going to try to undermine your ability to obtain excellence and self-realization in a way that'll make you pro-socially dangerous. Okay. And on that note, perceiving the realities of the so-called Matrix don't have to entail you going insane or becoming hyper-isolated or something. What can happen after you've done that is you can become a light to yourself and others by forming a solid conception of precisely who and what you're willing to die for. Although I won't get into that now. Check out this book whenever you get the chance to, or at least read summaries of it and think of how your life would be better if you force yourself to focus on a single point of intellectual emphasis for hours at a time rather than just, say, 10 or 20 minutes at a time. Thank you for watching and have a good day. And God bless you. And stay sharp and sober.